Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Sophie Erber. Tim has the night off. One woman is dead and several others are injured after an overnight shooting in Sioux City. And this deadly incident captured on surveillance video. KCAU 9's Mallory Smith has the late details on this investigation right now in our top story at 6.
A New Year's Eve party that turned deadly. We spoke with witnesses and investigators about what happened early this morning. It happened at 12:49 this morning. Sioux City police received reports of shots being fired in a residential area. Arriving officers discovered multiple shots had been fired from the street into the residence of 2637 South Walker Street, where investigators say a New Year's Eve party was going on.
We had a total of 5 people injured, including the deceased party. 4 of those are believed to have been from projectiles, from gunshot injuries.
It was outside this party that police say an 18-year-old woman was fatally shot. 4 other people on the property were shot and suffered a variety of injuries. Those other victims being treated tonight in Sioux City hospitals. This is a video from a surveillance camera outside a nearby house. It shows in the upper right-hand corner the gunfire and the alleged suspects who are still at large.
I think it's just crazy to know that something like that happens this close to where we're living. I mean, it's like 4 houses away, and in Sioux City, that's not something we're expecting to have happen, you know. We're not a big city. It's more of a small-town atmosphere around here.
Witnesses and investigators tell KCAU many others at the party fled as soon as they heard the shots being fired, including the homeowner.
This don't happen every day, and it's happening in my front yard, so it's kind of disturbing.
The suspects' identities have not yet been determined, as well as the number of rounds that were fired. Again, the shooters involved are still on the run tonight. Anyone with information is asked to call the police. Anonymous tips can be made by calling Crime Stoppers at 712-258-TIPS. The number there on your screen. Tips can also be made online, and we have a link on our website. That's SiouxlandProud.com. Back to you, Sophie.
All right, thanks so much, Mallory. And a federal judge tonight has rejected Tyson Foods' efforts to have a lawsuit over the death of an employee here in Iowa move to federal court. The family of a Waterloo plant employee suing Tyson over his death on April 26th from complications due to COVID-19. The lawsuit was filed in state court, but Tyson had sought to have it moved to federal court. The company arguing it was not liable because it was following federal guidance to stay open during the pandemic. A federal judge rejected that argument this week, sending the case back to the state court. Nebraska health officials say people 75 and older are the state's next priority for distribution of the COVID-19 vaccine. The state updating its vaccination plan to clarify the process. This after some teachers and school staff in Scottsbluff received the vaccine this week. This coming after federal health officials revised recommendations to add people 75 and older to that group, saying they should get the vaccine after healthcare workers and residents of long-term nursing facilities. Let's take a quick look now at the latest COVID-19 numbers here in Siouxland today. Woodbury County health officials reporting 2 additional virus-related deaths. 72 new cases bring the county total past 12,300. In Ida County, there have been a total of roughly 700 cases with 29 deaths. In Nebraska, Dixon County reporting 547 total cases and 6 deaths, while Thurston County reports 911 total positives with 9 COVID-19 fatalities. And in South Dakota, Clay County reports 12 deaths total due to COVID-19, along with 1,625 cases. The 7-day positivity rate for that county nearly at 12% tonight. Let's check in now with Chief Meteorologist Scott Larson for a look at our first forecast for 2021.
Sophie, we enjoyed a nice New Year's Day out there today with high temperatures up in the 20s and 30s throughout the region. Very seasonal. We did have some dense freezing fog in pockets this morning, and we may see that form up once again tonight. As we review the high temperatures today, you can see that those were between 20 and about the mid-30s. 36 in Albion and O'Neill, 27 today in Sioux City. Overnight lows tonight should hover right around 10 degrees, so it is going to be frigid once again. And as I mentioned, fog could become a concern as we move into the morning hours of the second day of January. You can see that we do have some poor visibility in spots. More coming up in the full 9 on 9 forecast. Sophie?
All right, thanks, Scott. Well, new year, new me. It's a phrase many folks are familiar with over the years as they decide their New Year's resolutions at the beginning of each year. So we spoke with many folks who are out and about in Sioux City on this New Year's Day, asking them about their New Year's resolutions and how they keep motivated all year long. Here's just a few of the answers we received today.
Write it down somewhere that you could see it every day, whether it's on your fridge or on your mirror, somewhere that you can see and get that motivation every day to do what your resolution is.
Keeping a good mindset and every day just working towards your goal and just trying to better yourself every day.
When you do it, stick to it.
We'll hear more from many Siouxlanders about their resolutions coming up tonight at 10. There's some good ones, too. Well, New Year's is normally a time for personal improvement, as we mentioned, and new intentions. But after a pretty hectic 2020, should intense resolutions be reconsidered? With more, here's ABC News' Avery Harper.
After ringing in the new year, many will add New Year's resolutions to their to-do lists. But one clinical psychologist urges we consider a different approach after such a stressful year. Sophie Lazarus, a clinical psychologist at The Ohio State University, suggests that instead of taking on new burdens, consider making small adjustments to bring joy to daily life. While a little bit of stress can help us feel motivated and productive, the chronic stress of an ongoing pandemic can be detrimental to our physical and mental health. And adds, practicing mindfulness helps to combat the stress response. So try sitting for a few minutes to take deep breaths or to acknowledge what you're grateful for. Consider making 2021 a mindful new year instead of piling on your to-dos. With this Medical Minute, I'm Avery Harper, ABC News.
Being an organ donor might be a difficult decision for some people to make, but it's also important for thousands who are suffering tonight. How Parade Float is honoring those who help save the lives of others, coming up.
And we're going to be kicking off 2021 with some above average temperatures moving through the next handful of days here. Highs mainly in the 30s. For some, we'll see 40s. And later on next week, the chance of a wintry mix. The 9 on 9 forecast right after the break.
You're watching KCAU 9 News with Tim Seaman, Sophie Erber, Chief Meteorologist Scott Larson, and Sports Director Jake Jones. This is KCAU 9 News at 6.
Thanks for sticking with us. Not a bad way weather-wise to start 2021, although tonight temperatures dipping down, and as you mentioned, drivers should be aware of some fog.
Yeah, really cold out there tonight, Sophie. It looks like temperatures are going to fall to about 10 degrees, and there is the potential once again of seeing some freezing fog form up. That's the kind that can make for some pretty scenes as it sticks to trees and surfaces outside, but it can also make for some difficult travel. So something to keep in mind for the late hours tonight and early tomorrow morning leading into the weekend. Here's the view over downtown Sioux City now from our Ho Chung Center camera downtown. The almanac here in Sioux City revealing that the high temperature today was 27 degrees and the low temperature this morning at 10. So no big surprises for the first day of January with some fairly seasonal conditions on both the high and low end of the spectrum. It does look like we'll temporarily chill off into Thursday with a strong breeze and a high of 31. But getting past that, some more sunshine awaits for next weekend with highs in the low to mid 30s.
Which should be on average, if not a little bit above for this time of year.
Yeah, a little bit above average. That, you know, gives you a little more pep in your step, I think, to kick off the new year when you're seeing some of those warmer than average temperatures.
Couldn't agree more. Thanks a lot, Scott. Well, today begins the first day hike challenge from the Iowa DNR with a little change in how it's being done this year. Starting today through the 3rd of January, folks can visit as many Iowa state parks for the first day hike challenge, with the prize being a 2-night stay in a cabin. To find out how to participate, check out this story on our website right now. That's at SiouxlandProud.com or the KCAU 9 News app. The annual Rose Parade may not have been the same because of the pandemic, but there was something extra special about it this year. How the parade is honoring organ donors, plus raising awareness of the importance of it, coming up next. Although this year's Rose Parade was pretty far from normal, there was one extra special float. It honored dozens of organ donors who helped save the lives of others. Deborah Takahara shares the story of one Colorado donor and his family who are also being honored.
He was a great guy, super funny. Like he was always, you know, the crowd pleaser.
Jake Thompson was fun, outgoing, and very generous.
In March of 2009, he was in a car accident, and at that point, about 48 hours after that, we were informed that he was not going to make it. So we were kind of approached with the choice to participate in organ donation on his behalf.
At just 21 years old, he gave his organs to 6 other people, helping them and helping his own family as well.
We realized, if you're going through a tragedy and you can help somebody else, what a great thing to be able to do that.
His family, including his twin sister, who married his best friend after his death, were selected to help decorate this year's float for Donate Life.
It's a pictograph, and it's basically one of our favorite pictures of Jake that we all have.
It's made of all organic materials.
We got together as a family, and we were able to help finish that whole florograph. And we did his eyebrows as a family, and we used coffee grounds was one of the organic materials.
The tribute raising awareness about the importance of organ donation. In Colorado alone, nearly 2,000 people are on the waiting list for a life-saving organ transplant. So what would Jake think about being part of the Rose Parade?
I think he would like it, but he might be a little nervous. He didn't like a whole lot of attention, just enough. So we'll see.
Now, according to the organization Donor Alliance, at the time of death, one donor can save up to 8 lives and improve the lives of more than 75 people. Pretty amazing. Well, Iowa State is less than 24 hours away from their first New Year's Day bowl game down in Arizona, and it's a little extra special for Cyclones quarterback Brock Purdy. Jake tells us why coming up in sports.
And again, as I said, Clemson and Ohio State in the second college football semifinal coming up at 7. Hopefully that game is a lot better than the first one, but we will have highlights of that game tonight at 10. That's Check on Sports. Sophie, send things back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Jake. We'll see you at 10, and we check in for one final look at your forecast. First, let's take you outside right now in Siouxland. Finally tonight, an uncommon meteorological event was caught on camera by a meteorologist.
How about
this
that?
Is pretty cool. Our sister station in Oklahoma City was live on Facebook going over the record-breaking snowstorm when there was a flash of lightning. You see that, Scott? It's pretty cool. And thunder followed the event, often called a thunder snow. It's pretty rare as it requires very specific conditions. As you can see, this weather guy excited to have caught it on camera. He says it's his first time experiencing thunder snow in more than 30 years. How about you, Scott?
Seen it a few times here in
Really?
Siouxland. Yeah, it happens maybe once or twice. A winter season will have enough convective power to be able to produce a little bit of lightning here and there. So haven't seen it quite yet this season, but of course always on the lookout for it. Looks like things are going to stay quiet though tonight, Sophie. Just some areas of fog to contend with a low of 11, 32, and mostly sunny for tomorrow. And it'll become even warmer for next week.
You're a lucky meteorologist. Thank you for joining us. We'll both see you back here tonight at 10. Until then, we hope you have a great night, everyone.